So my first guest, he's written a book called The Devil at My Doorstep. And this is David Bego. This is about his firsthand experience going back and forth with SEIU from 2006 until now. And this is, I mean, after everything that we've seen with the health control, after we've learned that Andy Stern, more so above anyone else, was the most frequent visitor to the White House, the important role that this administration allowed SEIU to play in shaping policy, and this guy being a small business owner and dealing with basically thugocracy, the bullying of a business. This book is fantastic. David joins us on the phone right now. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Dana. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So this is basically from your firsthand experience going back and forth with SEIU. What kicked all of this off, that which you base your book on? What started all of this?
Well, the SEIU is kind of targets areas, and they targeted the Midwest, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and Columbus in a campaign called 3 Cities, 1 Future. And they sent me a letter in April 2005 and wanted me to sit down and talk to them about what they could do for my employees. I ignored the letter because we're in 36 states, and we've seen what they do in other states, and just decided we didn't want to be part of it. Mm-hmm. However, they kept sending me emails and telephone calls until I finally had to sit down and talk with them, and that's what got us started.
Wow. And the business that you did, am I correct, this was about environmental workplace maintenance?
Yeah, we're a commercial cleaning company, and we have branches all over the country. We have one in your city, St. Louis.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So they sent you a letter. That sounds very ominous. They sent you this letter saying, well, this is how we can, I like how it was sort of purported to be, this is how we can be of help to your employees, which in between the lines, this is how we can basically boss you around and tell you how to run your businesses. And so you ignored it, and they kept pressuring you.
Yeah, they wouldn't leave me alone, and finally I agreed to have a meeting with them. One was early summer of 2006, and then the last one was in September of 2006. And basically what they wanted me to do was sign a neutrality agreement. And that agreement is the precursor of the Employee Free Choice Act, card check, if you may. Mm-hmm. And in that agreement, you give up your employees' rights to a secret ballot election. There's arbitration it speeds up arbitration. But one of the most onerous things in it was the fact that I would have to give them a list of all my employees and their home addresses. Ooh. So that they could go out and strong-arm them into signing union cards, because under this neutrality agreement, you're basically card check. And at the last meeting I had with them in Indianapolis, luncheon meeting, and they were always cordial, by the way, mm-hmm. during the meetings, until this last meeting, we're sitting there, and they had their president out of Chicago. This is their local president, mm-hmm. and their contract manager out of Cleveland. And the contract manager looked at me and he says, "You're not going to sign the agreement, are you?" I said, "No, I have no intention of signing the agreement. I don't morally think it's my right to give my employees' rights to a secret ballot election away. I'm not going to sign it. I'll never sign it."
Good for you.
And he looked at me and he says, "Well, Mr. Bego, we enjoy conversation, but we embrace confrontation. We're going to attack you and your employees and your customers in the next 30 to 90 days." And so basically the battle was on.
How long did this? Are they still pressuring you, or is this after you came out with the book? And I know you've done a lot of media about this. Is this something that they've finally let go?
Well, yeah, it's an interesting thing. What they run against businesses, and the reason I wrote the book is 2 reasons. One, because I was appalled at their tactics and how they treated my employees, and I was appalled at how they went after our customers and what they do to businesses across the country every day. Because I'm not the only one. They went after a lot of other cleaning companies, mm-hmm. too. But when they come after you like this, it's like death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
And there's so many things going on. And I just decided that, okay, guys, we're going to withstand it. We're going to find a way to beat you. And we did. And we actually took them down the road with the National Labor Relations Board. And we've won 3 major decisions against them, the last one being the end of May this year. And so they left us alone, to answer your question.
Wow. Well, that's your ending to this story is a lot better than some other folks. What were your employees saying when all of this was going on? Because I can imagine I just know that myself, whenever I hear about small business owners that are confronted with something like this, the employees, the ones who are not in SEIU, the ones who haven't been unionized, they start to get very scared, quite honestly. What did you hear from your employees when all this was happening?
Well, a couple things. One, I never received a request or a letter, phone call, anything from any employees asking to be unionized. And the truth is, nobody invites the SEIU to town. They invite themselves. Okay? I mean, that's pure and simple. To them, it's business. All the employees is a number, and that number is monthly dues. And but a couple quick stories about employees. We had a gal here in Indianapolis, an older gal that worked for us, and she would come into work at night, and the organizers would try and get her to sign union cards. And they kept pressuring her, and she was afraid. Our supervisors had to walk her out at night. She even got the police involved to tell them to leave her alone. Then they started offering her money, trying to buy the vote. And finally, after about 3 weeks, they just went to her and said, look, you're going to be union whether you like it or not. Sign the card. And she did, because she was terrified. And we know this for a fact because we've seen a written affidavit to that.
Yeah.
We had the same thing in Cincinnati. We had a gal got off the bus and was walking to the building where we clean, and two guys fell in beside her, and same pressure tactics all the way to the building. And she kept saying, no, leave me alone, I'm happy. And when she gets to the building, they stop her and say, you don't understand, EMS is going to be union. And we'll remember the people that helped us and those that didn't.
Wow.
That's pretty tough intimidation for people that just want to go in and do their job and be left alone.
Yeah, absolutely. You said this was a 3-year $1 million war that you didn't ask for, but you had to win. And it just it makes me think of all of the small businesses who maybe don't have enough resource or can't get it together enough to fight off an onslaught like this. I'm so glad that you stuck up for yourself, though. Now, you didn't just stuck up for yourself. You stuck up for really small business owners. You provided a precedence. Did you hear a lot from them when all this was going on?
Well, it's kind of funny. There was a lot of other companies here in town and some of the other cities that actually gave in and signed the agreement, but and they had to be kind of quiet about it. But through our attorneys, we found out a lot of them wished that they would have held out also, and they appreciated the fact that we did and that we stayed the course.
Yeah. Well, this is a great book, The Devil at My Doorstep, and the website for David Bego's book, thedevilatmydoorstep.com. You can go and you can order it right off the website. David, thanks so much for doing what you do, for fighting the good fight, and for being on with us this afternoon.
Well, thank you, Dana. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Take care.
You too.
Bye.